Hi, this is Daniel Hutchins, and today we're going to be talking about an article discussion. So, we're going to be talking more about Black Widow. Okay, so Disney hints that Black Widow may come out online the same time as the theaters. Okay, so if Black Widow does stream on Disney Plus, that decision will probably be made at the last minute, the Disney CEO said. Okay, so this was just today, so okay. So Disney CEO hinted that on Wednesday that Marvel Black Widow may be released online on Disney Plus the same time it hits theaters. Now Marvel Black Widow is currently slated to open in cinemas on May the 7th. And until now, Disney had consistently characterized that release as a theatrical exclusive. Okay, but he said Wednesday that Disney would remain flexible after he was asked in an interview whether the company is still committed both to Black Widow May 7th release date and to its exclusivity in theaters. They said they'll make the call probably at the last minute, but in terms of how these films come to market, whether it's Black Widow or any other title, Chapek said, we've had unbelievable success with the theaters, so we think it's important to build the franchises, but at the same time we don't think it's the only way to do it. So the comments were first linking that Disney, that Hollywood's top box office hit maker, could adjust its theatrical release plans to include a streaming option, even if Black Widow, though part of this Marvel powerhouse of mega hit movies. But again, for most of its biggest new movies, like Black Widow and other Marvel films, Disney has been delaying their releases until these once guaranteed blockbusters may have a more certain shot at becoming box office behemoths. Okay, so even after Disney announced in December that its animated feature Raya and the Last Dragon will be released on Disney Plus for an extra $30 fee alongside its March theatrical release, the company was silent for months about whether Black Widow would be available in a similar way. Alright, but Wednesday's comment suggested the potential for a hybrid streaming and theatrical release for Black Widow. Even as optimism grows about COVID-19 vaccinations and cinema reopenings in the USA, Disney's theatrical release decisions are a meaningful signal about Hollywood's faith in the box office. But they also underscored that the industry's willingness to keep offering wider choices for watching new movies even after the pandemic. Before the coronavirus restrictions decimated theater attendance, Disney racked up more top blockbusters than any other studio in the last 5 years. So other Hollywood studios have shown signs of optimism about putting their big films back on the big screen too. But as vaccinations have accelerated in the US, one of the world's biggest movie markets, several of them have moved up the release dates for tentpole films, underscoring anticipation that cinema attendance may bounce back sooner than they had previously hoped. So they said in January, Warner Brothers rescheduled Godzilla vs. Kong from May to March the 31st. Then in early March, Sony brought Peter Rabbit 2's release up to May 14th from June, and Viacom, CBS's Paramount Pictures moved A Quiet Place 2 from September to May 28th. Okay, so in the pandemic, Disney has already made dramatic changes to how it windows the online releases of its movies. As Disney first started to cope with coronavirus cinema shutdowns, the company simply started streaming already released movies on Disney Plus months before they planned and delayed for all its new theatrical films. Frozen 2 had began streaming 3 months early in March of 2020, and so did Star Wars Rise of Skywalker back in May 2020, and Pixar's Onward hit Disney Plus just weeks after its theatrical premiere. So likewise, then Disney started switching some theatrical movies into Disney Plus streaming originals instead, essentially skipping theaters entirely. So the company's live-action film version of the musical Hamilton arrived on Disney Plus this way in July, and Pixar Soul did too in December. So upcoming films like Cruella, its live-action reimagination of 101 Dalmatians, will be a Disney Plus original film instead of a theatrical premiere, as it was initially planned. Now the biggest change was that Disney Plus so-called Premier Access models. Premier Access requires subscribers to pay an extra $30 fee to unlock access to these big new movies, which are typically available to stream the same day that the film debuts in theaters. Disney first tested this in September with Mulan, the mega-budget remake of the 1998 animated classic, and it revived the model for its animated feature Raya the Last Dragon in early March. So any early Black Widow release on Disney Plus is widely expected to be through the Premier Access model with the extra $30 fee. So there you have it, guys. That is some news I wanted to say about Black Widow. If you guys like this content, please hit a thumbs up, and if you didn't, that's okay. And you guys have a nice day. Bye.